So I didn't know what to talk about for a long time because I'm always asking for you guys for suggestions on what to talk about during speed paints, and most of you guys want personal stories and experiences. And it's not that I don't like talking about myself, it's just that I feel weird talking about myself. I feel kind of like guilty and I'd rather give you guys advice. But I can't really think of good advice to give you for this speed paint, so I guess I have no choice. This is kind of gonna be going back into my history of art and that kind of stuff. So I have been drawing my whole life. I've always been pretty creative. My mom says that when we were babies, my brother, to keep him distracted, you would just give him, like balls and bats and building blocks and he would be good. But for me, you would just have to give me crayons and paper and I would be set for hours. And I would find anything to draw with. When I was a baby, I would grab my mom's lipsticks and I would draw on the walls with them, or I would get flour, like flour that makes, bread, and then I would put some water in it, and then I'd put my hands in it, and then I would draw on the walls with that flour, and it would dry up, and I would get in trouble, but I did it for so long anyways. I'm not actually sure if that counts as being creative at all. That might just be being a snotty little kid. But I was thinking, I've been wanting, or I've been drawing pretty seriously when I was 13 or 14, but before that, I was wanting to be an author. And I don't write anymore and I don't read, like fan fiction or any of that stuff. I know it's a huge deal on the internet, but I've never really been interested in that. But I really respect writing. I still consider it to be some form of art, even though it doesn't get as much recognition and appreciation as visual arts like drawings and, fan art and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I was really into writing, and I remember during my early stages of being on the internet, my earliest websites would have to be I Dress Up. Have you heard of that? It's a website where it's a bunch of dress up games, but you can make an account and you would have your own house and your own like avatar doll and you could play games and it was so fun. But I remember like posting pieces of my writing there because you could do like blog entries kind of. Oh my god, it's like so weird thinking about my like very first years on the internet. It's just I never had a Club Penguin or Neo Pets or whatever those called. I never had those kinds of accounts. They were super popular, but I don't know, I just never looked into them. I always just had that and then DeviantArt eventually. I think even when I went on DeviantArt, I had stopped wanting to write. That's when I got into drawing. I remember my earliest writings being on dragons because I had this dragon phase and I thought dragons were the coolest thing. My very first story it was like about a girl who could transform into a dragon, I think. Like this really she was Cerise. Cerise used to be my favorite color. I hope that's how you pronounce it. Cerise. Oh god, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that wrong. It's like this pink, but it's like on the reddish side. Anyways, she could transform into dragons or into a dragon and she was like a dragon princess. And there is another guy at her school and I think eventually he could transform into a dragon. I wish I could remember this story because it's just hilarious to think about. And then I also had a story about this girl. She was very much a Mary Sue, where she was a regular girl, but also she was a spy, but an evil spy, and then she was also a model. It's so funny. And it's I like to laugh at my past on being an author or wanting to be an author because my stories were not good, but I still have characters created from those stories. Luca, my number one character, my main OC to go to, was actually a villain in another story I was writing when I was a little bit older. He was kind of not good. He was kind of evil, but not really, and now he's just way more chill, but I like to laugh at myself. I do, because even though it's really embarrassing to think about, I I wouldn't want to change those years. It's just it gives me something to laugh about. I actually have some of the character designs for those characters in those stories in a very old box full of really old pictures that I drew when I was 11. if you guys ever want to see those, just let me know and I will gladly talk about each character individually because there's a lot of characters that I don't even remember. And all the girls wore fishnet stockings. What is up with me back then? Why were they all wearing that? I really wish I had some of my old writing too, but the laptop that all of my writing was in kind of exploded and it's just not doable anymore. I still have that I dress up vlog up somewhere and I remember my username and password, I'm pretty sure, so I can read some of my old stuff to you eventually. They're so bad. It's so bad. I mean, it wasn't like super bad, but it was very, 11-year-old girl stuff about, oh, it's a girl and she's in love with a boy and people died. Why did people die all the time in my stories too? Everybody just died. I killed a lot of people back then, more than I kill now. Well, I don't really kill a lot of my characters. There's only one of my characters that dies for sure, but I'm not gonna say who that is. You guys don't even know them because I don't think I had them on my channel. But anyways, oh my god, I just remembered something really good. Back then, I would kind of write about like scenes that were kind of dirty, but not really because I didn't know anything about sex at all. I didn't know how it worked, but I knew it was like a thing that people did when they love each other. Back then I didn't know about, like asexuality and stuff, so I just kind of assumed that everybody did that and I would kind of write about it in my stories, but I didn't know what it did. And some guy, like, I remember reading the word orgasm, and I was like, what the heck is that? And then when I looked up the definition, it was just something like the ultimate pleasure thing, and I didn't know, like, I didn't know what it did. And then I wrote something that was like, I held his hand and I think he orgasmed. And I didn't know what it meant. I just thought it was like this happiness thing. I mean, it is happiness, but oh my god, that's so funny. Oh, it's so embarrassing to think about. I hope that's not like too not safe for work for you guys because I'm trying to keep this channel kind of family friendly, but obviously after this video it's not super that. But I'm not gonna, get too much into it. But like I said, I was probably 11 or 12. I didn't know what I was talking about. I need to end this speed paint. I really do. I need to make a whole speed paint for this. I swear I'll do it someday. Maybe I'll make my own separate video about me reading some of my old stuff and, along with looking at my old art because it is so funny just looking through my old stuff and I really want you guys to experience it with me because I need you guys to laugh at me along with me. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video. Sorry it was kind of all over the place, but it was really fun for me to record. I do videos every Tuesday and Saturday, and I hope to make more eventually. Like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Okay, bye. Thank you.